Hello and welcome to the G27 Road Warrior with me, Movie Scouse 007, where we play Euro Truck Simulator 2 with a Logitech G27 gaming wheel and currently still on my crappy laptop, although that situation will change at some point in the near future. Okay, so we leveled up, which means that we have skill points and upgrades to look at. So let's apply the skill point first. So we are now 2 for 2 on all of our skill points. So we're going to go down as we have. It's the most even way of doing it. So we're going to add another ADR. We're going to add class 3, which is flammable liquids, including very common but also very dangerous fuels such as petrol, diesel, or kerosene. So we may well get possibly not this journey, maybe in the next journey we might get some fuel loads. Alright, let's have a quick look at the upgrades that are available to us. We're in a MAN, so there's not really a great deal. Traditional Volvo is the same thing. Bull bars and rims, bull bars and rims. See Scania, bull bars and a rim. DAF, bull bars and a rim, bull bars and a rim, bull bars and a rim. Alright, that's something actually I should point out. The last update, when I first started playing this game, you got the tyres and the rims together. Now they do the tyres and the rims separately, so when you go to buy a new truck, or you go to upgrade your truck, you can actually buy the rims and the tyres separately, so you can select the tyre you want and the rim you want. We're not going to do anything to this truck. This is just going to be our truck until we can afford to buy another truck. The aim is to drive as many miles as we can in each. Is to drive each truck manufacturer, one of each truck manufacturer's models, for as many miles as it takes to be able to afford the next one. So at the moment we're in a bright canary yellow MAN. I know I was saying it was a DAF all the way through the second half of the last journey. It wasn't DAF, it was a MAN. I apologise. If you watch this and you cared, you were probably screaming at the truck. Okay, what the hell? So let's go and repair our truck and get some rest and recuperation. And then actually we need to look at the map, don't we? I keep pushing it. I still don't have that in my head yet. So there's a repair point and a rest point, actually, left and left again. Also, how are we off for fuel? We're alright for fuel. So left and left again. So let's turn this bad boy on. Okay. That's more like it. It was refusing to go anywhere. Alright. Still got twitchy steering. It normally takes me... yeah. What do I hit? There's stuff coming. I could just see through that little panel. There is nothing coming. Let's go. Alright, for some bizarre reason, this, and I haven't done anything, I haven't done anything to this, but it's actually using the splitter I want, which is the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, which it hasn't been ever. Which is interesting. Right, in here. Oh, my driving skills are sucking today. No, that's not in here. Alright. It's not here. Oh! That's what comes of not playing this properly. Alright, so we need to go in here and repair. We definitely need to repair now. If we didn't, we definitely do now. That was terrible. Right. Let's get some rest. Let's get some fixing. So 6% of this damage is from just now. So our TGX has a 3% damage on the engine for £243, 2% the damage on the transmission for £178, 6% damage on the chassis for £1,383, 5% on the cabin for £675, and finally 1% on the wheels for £106. We have to pay a repair bill of £2,586, so let's just do that. And then let's go get some rest. Oh, actually, upgrade shop. Let's just show you the wheels and tyres again. No. There we go. So, you can see, you can select the tyres, and you can select the rims, which is new, totally new. Anyway, I like them Raven ones. Oh, sexy. We're not going to. we want to cancel. We're not going to pay. We're going to do anything to this truck. Oh, it was on. I always leave it on and then assume I've turned it off, which is really stupid of me. Let's just chuck it in here. Right. Engine off. And let's have some sleep. I don't want to do that. Alright, we got some money, or we paid a bit. Oh no, we got some money. I don't know how far we are into our load. Let's just have a quick look at that. Let's just have a look at the bank. Let's go to the bank and see how far into our loan we are. Okay. We have... Okay, so we are 12 days into a 35-day loan for the 80 grand and 12 days into a 70-day loan for the £320,000. So we've got 265,000 left to pay on the first loan and 52,500 left on the second loan. So we've still got a lot. We've paid 23,000 out of our £400,000. That's not a lot. Frankly, that's not a lot. Right, let's go to the job market. Let's get ourselves a job. Freight market. So, let's do it by price. So, Kuplo to Katowice, which is a 45-hour journey with 2 sea journeys. Actually, no, we need to do it. We need to start from where we are. So, oh, there's milk. There's some milk. 20,000. That's back into Finland. That's into Edinburgh. Sheffield. Christians. Oh, that's a very short journey. Let's do the Karlskrona. Let's do Finland to. Let's do Sweden to Finland. Staying in the in our newly acquired DLC. Let's do that. So we're going to. No. Let's do this properly. So that is our. Oh dear, I'm making a mess of this. So, where are we? So we're going from the southern tip of Sweden to smack in the middle of southern Finland. Right, let's go. Let's go pick up our load. So. Let's get out of here. Let's do this properly this time as well. No leaping out to the road without checking first. So, there's traffic coming that way. Nothing coming that way, and then nothing after that red car. So, let's go. Ooh. Ah! Damn it. I thought I'd make it. Oh, so we've already blown our chance of that. I don't think our journey was long enough, but we've blown our chance of that journey with no penalties. That vehicle looked like a Volvo XC70 or 90. Right. I always get screwed by roundabouts. So let's see if I get screwed by this roundabout. No, it looks like he's going to let me go. That's good. So what are we going to talk about today? I don't know. Where is our load? I think our load is here. So let's see. Yep, I think our load is here. So let's pick it up. Let's enter. And let's take that job, because that's groovy. Taking some milk. Moving milk is always good because it means that kids get their calcium. And there is our load. Yeah, so there are a number of things going on in the world. The continued degradation of the United States black community by law enforcement officers who seem to think it's their duty to shoot black people. Recently, a university cop, not even a proper police officer, but a university security officer, has been charged with murdering a black person, not on campus, not a student, nothing to do with him. And he decided that the guy knew his rights, knew that this university cop had no right to stop him, and so decided that enough was enough and he was going to drive off. And as he was going, the university cop shot him in the head. Recently, they're still going through the process of charging the racist guy that went into a black church and murdered 12 people just because, you know, why the hell not? And there have been, in the last couple of weeks, there have been 2 more instances of people going into entertainment establishments and murdering people. I think a cinema and a theatre. Or 2 cinemas, I'm not 100% certain, because Americans tend to call their cinemas theatres for some bizarre reason that I cannot fathom. A cinema is not a theatre, it's a cinema. A theatre is a theatre. Apologies to my American brethren, but when something doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. I can't, So I can start this bad boy in 4th with no problems. I think I'm going to dispense with 2nd. Just skip straight to 4th from here on in. That's... Oh, you stupid idiot. I know I do some stupid things, but... So, yes. Again, the United States is being forced to renew its discussion on gun control, and yet again, huge sections of the American community are sticking their head firmly in the sand and saying, it's nothing to do with me. You can't take our guns, we'll shoot you if you take our gun. The funniest example of that was when Piers Morgan still had his chat show. Oh God, that's turned red again. Well, that didn't last very long, did it? When Piers Morgan still had his chat show, and it was in the dying embers of his chat show in America. He had, I think, this guy's name is Alex Cross. The guy is a complete lunatic. He's just a douchebag extraordinaire. And he just went on a hilariously explosive rant at Piers Morgan about, if you take our guns, there'll be a revolution. And I'm thinking, this guy does know that Piers Morgan has got no intention of taking anyone. I mean, Morgan's a douchebag himself. But not only does he not have the power, or the authority, he's no ability to take anyone's guns. All he's doing is initiating a debate, a worthwhile and frankly much needed debate about whether America can finally give up its fetish with guns. What needed to happen was 50 years ago they needed to do this, when Americans were still relatively moderate and still able to have a sensible discussion without invoking God and states' rights and all sorts of other nonsense. 50 years ago, American governments were able to have a sensible debate about stuff. Things got done. More got done in 1 year 50 years ago in Congress and Senate than has been done in the last 10 years. And yet still Obama, for all of the obstacles, has still managed to get things through, like the Affordable Care Act, which astonishes me. A black man got elected to president in the single most racist Western power on the planet, which again astonishes. That tells you about how bad the political situation for the Republicans is at the moment, that they couldn't even defeat a black man in a frankly still significantly racist country. My apologies to all Americans watching this who aren't racist. There are loads of you. I have to say, speeding offence. Well, never mind. I have to say, every single American US citizen I've met has been wonderful, lovely, friendly, generous, kind, normal, rational. I tend to have met. I've been to America twice. Been to the US twice. I've been to New York and San Francisco, and they tend to be more cosmopolitan. There tends to be more a more sort of cosmopolitan mix of people. I guess the people that are the large racist core of the United States live in the middle of America, and they don't travel very much, but they do vote. And and it does surprise me that I'm guessing there was a large mobilization of black voters, because Obama, I think, is possibly, the thing is, the guy is half black, half white. His dad's black, his dad's Kenyan, but his mum is a white American. And it's his mum that brought him up. So I think white America sort of racist white America views him as a sort of a compromise. If they have to have a black president, then at least a black president whose mama is white and he was brought up with white values. I think maybe that's the way that the racist white Americans view him. Just normal, rational, sensible Americans view him as a good president, which is the only way you should view him, because he is. He's best president the United States has had since Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton had his problems, and where Obama's problems have been not of his making but of an accident of his birth. Bill Clinton's problems were all of his own making. His inability to keep his pecker in his pants, and a wife, an opinionated, a perfectly healthily opinionated woman as his wife, that America wasn't ready for. America wasn't ready for an opinionated woman to be in charge of anything. They are now. If things go the way I think they might, then the Democratic fight is going to be between a guy called Bernie Sanders, who I really like, and Hillary Clinton. So, by all of the polls, it's close, but Hillary's got it. So there's every chance that the United States of America, will have its first woman president. They've had plenty of them in fiction. For me, most notably, the president in 24. I forget the name of the character now, but I just used 2 rather than 4 because I was on a slight hill there. And when you're on a hill, when you're doing a hill start, the lower the gear you can have, the better. Excuse me. So they're possibly about by the big January 2017. They'll either have a wonderfully moderate liberal called Bernie Sanders, or they'll have their first female president. I like Hillary Clinton. I've got nothing against her, but if I was to choose the United States' first female president, it would be another person. It would be a lady called Senator Elizabeth Warren. I think she's fantastic. She says all the right things. She follows those right things up with actions. She votes in a way that if I was a US citizen, I would be proud. There's a politician who's not astonishingly corrupted, that's not subject, or doesn't appear to be subject to the whims of vested interests in the same way that W was, and that to a small extent Clinton was, and that to a large extent the entire Bush family are. That makes me sad. They keep calling themselves the world's only superpower, which is a patent bloody nonsense. They're not. Absolutely not. I think the world's superpower at the moment is China, given that China owns most of the US debt. I think China are the world's superpower at the moment, frankly. Russia's still got its significant power base. It's still got a complete lunatic in charge, a former KGB, former head of I don't know who's the head of the KGB, but he was certainly a former KGB operative, officer in Vladimir Putin, who murders people and then offers to investigate those murders. I said allegedly. I don't think anyone is in doubt. Earlier this year, his closest opposition was murdered, and before he was murdered, the guy was asked, "Do you think Putin will murder you?" Yeah, probably. I think it's an incredibly brave man to be an opposition candidate to Vladimir Putin. I really do. I really do. So that's what's going on in America at the moment. They're murdering black people, because that's how they roll. white cops are murdering black citizens. I'm rubbing the bloody barrier. Those barriers are a sudden nightmare. Alright, let's take it a little bit easier. Oh, and that's because this is narrow and they could screw me. Let's stick my foot down so I join. Briefly. Oh, I didn't put my foot on the clutch long enough there. And then we make another exit. Okay. Let's turn that indicator off. So, yeah, the world is a very frightening place at the moment, for one reason or another. Which is all good. So the wife and I tried to buy a house this week, and that didn't happen. The wife is understandably upset. She fell in love with it, and it's not happening. We weren't gazumped. We offered the two people put offers in. The other offer was accepted just because they're closer to having the money and the people wanted to move quickly. So yes, the wife is understandably upset at the moment, and yeah, and that isn't going anywhere. That her feelings about that aren't going anywhere soon. So well, it's me trying to drive and drink tea at the same time. All over the place. Every time I have to take my eye off the screen, I steer into. I don't know what I have a real problem, which feeds into my driving in real life, in that I can't look over my shoulder or anywhere other than I'm looking without steering in the direction that my head moves. I can't train myself out of it. I mean, it's not literally I turn my head and my arms steer to the same degree, but they do. There's a slight drift. Like if I just lift, yep. I just turned my head to the left and my arms went with. So you'll know if I get a track IR, you'll know it's happening because you'll see my head moving, which is disappointing. But there we go. Such is life. I think it's time to turn the lights on, as we're entering night time. It is 10 o'clock in the evening. I probably should have had the lights on quite a while ago. In fact, I am surprised I didn't get penalised for not having the lights on. So yeah, still not liking this truck. I don't like the dashboard. It's deeply uninspiring to look at. I mean, you shouldn't be looking at the dashboard at all, really. You should be looking at the road ahead. But when you do look when I do look at the dashboard, I want the dashboard to look okay. I want it to look cool. I don't want it to look boring and plasticky and uninspiring. And then I'm afraid that's what this dashboard does for me. It's not the worst by a long shot. It's not the worst by a country mile. By thousands of kilometers, it's not the worst. It's just not the best. The best is easily the Volvo. It's probably, you know, although I love the exterior of the Volvo, I think because I spend so much time inside a virtual Volvo, it's the interior. I love the interior. The dashboard is quite sexy. I like the fact that the rev counter and the speedo and the odometer and all of that stuff is all in the same place. You only have to look in one place. You're not looking in multiple directions. I am looking at the rev counter on the left and the speedometer on the right. I can see I'm in 12. I can just, actually, to be honest, I can just make out 12 in that little LCD screen in the middle. So I can only imagine how much better this is going to look when I've got a better graphics card for this. And when I do have a better graphics card, I am whacking everything up to max. The idea is to get a GTX 980 and as much RAM as I can afford, and then just whack everything up to max. And what I'll do is I'll do a practice journey on an offline profile and make sure that everything works and doesn't stutter, and then maybe sort of fiddle with the settings if everything on max is too much. But we'll see. But I'm amazed. I'm immensely proud of this crappy little. I mean, I call it a crappy laptop, but it's playing this game. It's feeding the signal to a 50-inch television. I'm playing it with a gaming wheel. It still astonishes me. It still astonishes me that I can do this. I was thinking actually, if we can't get the house, if we can't get a house we like in the next 6 months, the wife was making noises about moving to another country, and I don't think that's realistic or possible anymore. Given that I've got a lovely new job, that I think we'd be idiots for me to leave. But she was making movements about living in Canada for a year. I am only on a 2-year contract, so if they decide after 2 years that they don't want, crikey, easy tiger, they don't want my services after 2 years, then maybe it will be a good idea to do that. In fact, we might even do that. Even if we have a house, we might just sort of rent the house out for a year and go live somewhere. And she was making noises about going to Canada, and I was just thinking I would need a decent laptop to continue the journey. And I was wondering what sort of controller I could use, because I certainly can't take a G27 or indeed the G29 that will most likely replace it. I can't take either of those with me. So what would I do? What would I do? At least travelling, I won't be videoing the journeys using an iPhone like I did with my first 99 videos. That's what I did. I drove 99 videos in New Zealand in the living room, using a keyboard on the laptop and using using an iPhone 4, Blu-tacked to a cup held in place by a large bulldog clip, which I protected from the pressure of the bulldog clip with the folded instructions from a set of headphones. Fun and games. And I can't believe that's over a year ago now. We've been back in the UK for over a year. In London for over a year. So this channel so these journeys were going through sort of slight changes every sort of 12 months. So after 12 months, I got a capture device, which vastly improved what you're seing. Because instead of seeing the laptop screen, which still has that big black dead space, I've no idea what caused it, but I do know when it happened. We took the laptop with us to a place called Northland. We went on holiday with the wife's parents. We did all sorts of stuff, kayaking and things like that. We flew from Christchurch to Auckland, where her parents live, and then we drove from Auckland to Northland. Northland, if you look at the North Island of New Zealand, Northland is the bit at the very top on the left-hand side. It's that huge chunk on the top of New Zealand. It's the northernmost point of New Zealand is there as well. There's a windmill. I took some photographs actually. It's quite nice. Yes, while we flew, while the laptop was in the laptop bag on the aeroplane, that black dot appeared. The dead pixels. They're completely screwed. They're not stuck. They're dead. But then I was thinking, given how old the laptop is, we bought it when we were living in Tooting in London before we went to New Zealand. So I think it's 4 years old. It's quite an old laptop. So I think it's done remarkably well. I was actually thinking of going with an Apple laptop. I think I've probably mentioned this on a previous video. That if I had a preference, I'd go with a MacBook Pro. Given that I've bought this game and they don't charge you extra for buying the version for the different manufacturers, once you've bought it, you bought it. So I could have it on a Linux machine, I could have it on a MacBook, I could have it on I've got it on a Windows machine. We're going past Sud Italia, which is where Scanias are made. We will have to go there in a future video when I'm not trying to drive all of the trucks. Maybe when I'm driving a Scania, I will take the Scania to the Scania factory. Maybe we'll try and do a delivery to the Scania factory if that's possible. I'll make that special. But yes, I was thinking I really like Mac. I love my iPad, my iPhone. We are going to get an Apple TV quite soon, so that I don't have to. I've got a PS3, and the only thing I use it now for is Netflix and YouTube, really, and I don't want to keep turning it on just for that. Because the damn thing makes quite a lot of noise. So a little Apple TV might be just the thing. Here's the other thing is, when we do finally buy a house, we're going to want to have the games, all of this stuff in a separate room. The wheel, the consoles. We'll have... Oh, slow down. Nearly missed that exit. And then we're just going to want to have the television in the living room. Have a television in the living room. And I don't particularly want to have a Freeview box. We don't record a lot of stuff. It's turning left. Let's put it forward just a little bit so that we can get a good view of the road. Nothing coming. That's coming. But we'll go as soon as that's gone right. Okay, that's BS. Let's turn right. So I was thinking maybe just knocked over a sign. Whoops. Just having a TV and an Apple TV for YouTube and Netflix, which is essentially when the wife comes home, that's what the TV is used for, is YouTube and Netflix. We watch a couple of YouTube channels. We watch the Vlog Brothers every Friday and Tuesday, and there's a channel called Cinema Sins that we love, which has a thing called Everything Wrong With, and sort of once a week or once a month they'll pick on a film, either an old film or a brand new film that's just been released on home media of some description, and the guy will pick it apart. I mean, he does it with love, because this guy clearly loves movies, and he'll pick apart a film. And he has his favourite tropes, like he has a trope called the Prometheus School of running away from things. In Prometheus, Naomi Rapace runs away from a big spaceship as it's rolling towards her, and instead of sort of running perpendicular to it, she runs in its path. and this has become a trope now that he visits regularly, and he calls it the Prometheus School of Running Away from Things, and it makes us giggle. So yes, we watch a bit. So I would love to be able to just do that without having to sign into the PlayStation Network and do all that sort of palaver. So we're over my wife's objections. We're getting one of those. She doesn't want. We've got the PlayStation. What do you need that for? Thing. Just wait until we don't have the PlayStation in the same room as the telly, love. And then you'll know why. Plus, like I said, I want to make my. Okay. I have real problems with GPSs, I really do. I want to make that PlayStation 3 last as long as possible. At the moment, I'm trying to work my way through the Uncharted series, which are all on PS3. And I don't want... Right. I'm going this way. We've played this game before. I'm trying to platinum the Uncharted series, all three of the games, before Uncharted, the Uncharted collection comes out for PS4 in October. I at least want to. So I haven't played all of them all the way through. I've played one all the way through, but I haven't played 2 or 3 all the way through. And I kind of want to play them all the way through before the HD collections comes out, because I know what will happen. I know what I'm like. God, this thing. I don't ever have quite this problem with the Volvo. Alright. That big Scania logo in my face. Turku or Gdansk? Right, let's see where. So we're heading here to not there. Where is it? Somewhere around here. Varkas, not Varkas. Kroplo, no. Where is it? Somewhere around here. Actually, it might be Mikkeli. So we're heading here. Let's see where Gdansk takes us. No, I don't think we'll be doing that. I think we'll be doing that. So £640. It's an 11-hour journey. And that tickles me every time. So yes, it would be nice. We are gathering a collection of little boxes by the telly, because I use the telly to film this. I sit in front of the telly, so I've got a nice big view. Let's turn the lights off because we don't need the lights at midday. But I think and given that I can then send media from my iPad to the telly, I'm pretty cool with that. We might. My wife doesn't have a tablet device. She has a Samsung Galaxy, but being able to send media straight to the telly sounds super cool. Hopefully we haven't done any damage to this load so far, and we get our excellent, because we've been on a run recently. We've been alright. We've got speeding fines, and we crashed our tractor into another vehicle, but we've got the load back. The last 2 journeys, we've got the load back without any damage, and we've got an excellent. So I'd like to keep that run going. God, I get a terrible frog in my throat. Let's check out, see if there's anything coming. Nope. Oh God, what am I worried about? So we're turning left at this roundabout. That's cool. That was a bit dodgy. That was very hairy. We didn't slow down nearly enough. And I had my foot on the brake, so I'm not 100% certain why we didn't slow down. Right turn. And the road's clear, so I wonder if that's deliberate, that they keep Finnish roads clear. Do they have a lot of vehicles in Finland? I have this, I think we in the West have this twisted idea that the rest of the world lives in extraordinary poverty and are very technologically backward, but that's not the case. For the most part, that's not actually the case. I think my brain, and this is horribly racist, I hate to admit to it, but my brain thinks of India as not a first world country, but in fact, I know it is. I know it absolutely is. They've got, they are one of the two countries that dominate the remote call center market, the other being the Philippines. Ireland used to be in there, but Ireland's got economic problems that it can't handle, and also they became so expensive in comparison. They were cheaper than, say, the UK or the United States, but they were much more expensive than the Philippines or India. The bizarre thing is, to work in a call center in the UK, you need no qualifications whatsoever. Any numpty can become a call center operator in the UK. You don't even need a CSE. I mean, this is how far back I'm going. CSE is a qualification that doesn't exist anymore. It stands for the Certificate of Secondary Education. You could get one for just attending. They were that easy. And the qualification that was worth having was called the GCE. Now which was the General Certificate of Education. Now they've both been replaced by the General Certificate of Secondary Education, the GCSE, which is an amalgam of the two previous types of qualification. And instead of having A, B, C, and D for each one, you now have A to F, and F doesn't stand for failure. It's just a degree of competence at the subject. It's not a particularly good, positive degree of competence, but it is a degree of competence, and that is the one you usually get for just attending. So, I had a point. What was my point? I wish I could pause, go back, watch, and remind myself what my flipping point was. Oh, that's going to irritate me. I tell you what, I'm convinced the Alzheimer's is kicking in. I can remember vividly stuff I did 10 years now, and I cannot remember what I was talking about just 2 minutes ago. Oh my dear. Yes, Indian call centres. I knew it would come to me. Indian call centres, you need a degree. You need a university degree to work in a call centre in India. That blows my mind. And it's not because the degree in India is worth less. It's that the job, comparatively, in India pays so much more than other jobs that in order to qualify, you have to weed out the people. And you'd have to weed out a load of people, which means that although the job doesn't require a flipping degree, you have to have a degree. The bizarre thing is, they have to learn about the social environment of the country for which their call centre serves. So quite often you'll find that the people are required to watch, like for Britain, they're required to watch British TV programmes, they're required to read British newspapers, they're required to understand what's going on in Britain at that time, and they're also required, ridiculously to take on British names. So you'll get some guy his name is probably Rajesh or Gurpreet, and his British name is Dave. And I won't appall you with an Indian accent, but imagine an Indian accent and there's a saying, "Hello, my name's Dave. How can I help you today?" I wish they wouldn't. I wish they'd just let the guys use their own names. I really do. But there you go. That's just a mining. But I have bigger problems with call centres than just that the guys have to use British names. My big problem is the call centre should be in the country you're calling from, not halfway across the planet, with a person who's reading from a script. And if you have a problem that's not on their script, then yeah, forget about it. Which has happened to me every single time I've used a call centre. I never seem to have a problem that's on their script. Their scripts seem to deal with the simplest of stuff. I had a serious issue with British Telecom. British Telecom used to use a direct sort of wired connection. You'd have sort of a connection that looked like a sort of a used soap bar, that sort of slightly rounded edged, almost rectangle type thing, that's sort of smoothed off at all the edges. Let's try and do this roundabout properly. There we go. That's how you do a roundabout. Actually, I might take on some fuel. Don't need to, I'm not desperate, but I got a feeling that getting some fuel wouldn't be a bad idea. It never is. Alright, engine off. Let's buy some fuel. So they used to use it. They used to wire it in on one side and onto a piece of metal, and then wire in. They'd wire the line coming in to one side of the piece of metal, and then the wire going to your phone, the other end of the piece of metal. And they stopped using that. They now use a socket system, which, if you live in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, you'll be very. In fact, I think that I'm not sure, but they might use the same socket system in the US as well. For telecommunications, and we moved into a house that didn't have that, and because it was an elderly person and they refused to upgrade. The person died in the house. They'd lived there like 50 years. They had their old telephone. They didn't want to change to a new telephone. They wanted to keep the old style telephone, and they refused to let BT upgrade it. So I'm phoning the Philippines. Not deliberately. I'm phoning up their help desk, and it just routes me to a help desk in the Philippines. And the woman can't understand what I'm talking about. She thinks that I want a new socket. I want an additional line. And she wants to charge me £120, which is about 240 New Zealand dollars. It's about 200 US dollars. It's a lot of money for something that's not my responsibility. They want me to be a customer. They want. We're moving our BT line from one part of Reading to another part of Reading. We're not changing country. We're not changing postcodes. We are changing postcodes. So of course we're changing post. We're not changing postal districts. We were still in the Reading postal district, and we would have been able to keep our Reading phone number. We just wanted them to install a socket. 2 weeks of phone calls. Trying to get them to understand, and are continually being sent to the Philippines. And then when I ask to speak to a supervisor, I get another person in the Philippines. And when I ask to speak to someone for whom English is a first language, so that they can understand exactly what it is I'm trying to, I get the runaround, and I get no help whatsoever. So we discovered that there was a cable box in the living room, the other side of the same wall that the BT connection came into the house, and it had NTL on it. NTL is a company that no longer exists. It was a cable company. It was one of a half a dozen cable companies that were bought by Virgin Media. So we contacted Virgin Media and asked them if they could install it, and they had us connected to the internet and the telephone in 4 days. From the first call to the installation, 4 days. After we'd paid the deposit, after we'd paid the upfront fee for joining Virgin Media, BT finally understood what it was we were talking about. At which point we said, "Nope, you had your chance, you missed out," and we broke our contract. Thankfully, it didn't cost us very much because we'd already exceeded the 12 months. We had a 12-month contract, and we'd already exceeded the 12 months, so we weren't paying. We weren't sort of breaking a contract that had a set time period. We were breaking a contract after that set time period. But it just boggles my mind. But it took once we decided to get rid of them. It took 17 phone calls to get rid of the telephone service, and 11 phone calls to get rid of the internet. Because at the time, BT Internet and BT Telecom were two different companies. I think in the early days of the internet, BT weren't 100% certain that the internet was going to be a successful thing, so they didn't want the internet company to bring down the telephone company. Now it would be the other way around, because I know maybe 10 people out of all my acquaintances who actually have a BT line into the house anymore. And I know who actually have a telephone connected to their BT line. Lots of people still have to have a BT line to get the internet into the house. And I have a horrible feeling that Virgin Media have now gone the same way. Instead of getting the internet through the cable, you now have to get the internet through a BT line, because they're charging a line rental, which annoys the living daylights out of me. Because that was the big draw. That was the thing that pleased me the most, is that because we had the cable box, we didn't have to have a BT line. It saved us, I think it saved us £16 a month. £16 a month. I mean, that boggles my mind that they can get away with charging £16 a month. But there you go. So we've got 2.25 hours. Oh, we've got bags of time. 26 hours. We could go on a driving spree. We could go to another country and come back and still have enough time. We do have 7 hours until we have to rest, but given that it's probably only going to take us 2 hours to get to our destination, I think it's quite reasonable to suggest that we won't need to rest again. So we are winging our way. So I mean, 17 phone calls to get rid of the bloody telephone service that they kept. I've not. It was like little phone calls, like arguments over whether we owed them money or not, when clearly we didn't. And I probably spent a lot of money. If I'd have just paid, I probably would have saved me money. But it's the principle of the thing. I'm quite prepared to exercise a principle. And strictly speaking, what I could have done is gone to the Small's Claims Court, claim back every telephone call, every letter, because we had to send them half a dozen letters as well, forms for this and that and the other. I understand that it's a lot better now. But I would be, one of my best friends has BT and BT Internet and BT Sport, and I'm kind of half tempted to go with it, because BT Sport have got a lot of football on Freeview and also on their box, but I'm more inclined to go with Virgin Media, because I can get that. I can get all the football I want, and I can sort of get Sky without having directly to pay Rupert Murdoch. I can indirectly get the money from Virgin Media. I'll give my money to Virgin. And that would. I don't need to, actually. I pay Liverpool Football Club fee, like 40 quid a year, so I can watch all the Liverpool matches, which actually is slightly more useful because BT and Sky don't show every Liverpool match, whereas LFC TV Go does show every. But you can't watch them live. You have to watch them after the fact. You can watch certain things live, like I think I could watch. Oh crikey! No, what are you doing? You loon. Like I could have watched. In fact, I did watch one of the friendlies. I watched them play Swindon Town. So we got through our. As soon as I started talking about Liverpool, I'll quickly give you the Liverpool fireside chat quickly. So Liverpool played 6 pre-season games. One against Malaysia, a Malaysian team. 2 against Australian teams, once against a Bangkok team, once against a team in Helsinki, and one lower English league team called Swindon Town. So we started off with the Bangkok team, which we stuffed them 4-0. Then we played a team in Brisbane, I think, and we beat them 2-1. I think we beat Adelaide 2-0. I think we drew 1-1 with the team in Malaysia. We beat the team in Helsinki 2-1, and then we beat Swindon Town 2-1. So undefeated in pre-season doesn't really mean a great deal, because quite a lot of the time the manager's playing players that won't play a lot of the season. But it did give us a chance to see all of our new signings play. Benteke played against Swindon and he scored a brilliant goal. James Milner played most of the games, scored 2 goals. Firmino played against Swindon and he only played 60 minutes, but he looked pretty good. We also the young Belgian kid, whose name escapes me. Not Shinji Ojo. It begins with O. Oh, that's embarrassing. I forget his name now. Divock Origi. He looked pretty good. He scored. I think he scored at least once, possibly twice. My memory is failing me. And yes, who else did we acquire? We acquired 6 players. Divock Origi we acquired this season before, but lent him back to the club we bought him for another year. We're going back to Mikkeli. I should have known that we've already been to Mikkeli. That's embarrassing. Milner we acquired on a free transfer from Manchester City. He was out of contract. We're probably paying him a lot of money. Benteke was £32 million from Aston Villa. Firmino we bought from Hoffenheim. Ooh, blimey, easy tiger. We bought from Hoffenheim for £29 million. Oh, come on. You crashed into us, buddy, not the other way around. And we're quite near to our depot as well. I think we got a right. I think it's right there actually. Oh, no, it's one of those horrible. It's one of those horrible ones with the big stone. Oh no, it's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's this one. You can see the symbol telling me where to plonk it. Right, so let's do this. We're not going to. We're going to park it ourselves. Thank you very much. No, not too fast, not too fast. It always pays. Take it a little bit slower. And I don't know if you can hear, but my upstairs neighbours have decided that now is the time that they're going to stomp about. This is another reason why we're desperate to get a house, is so that we're only suffering neighbours from left and right, not above. Thankfully we're not below as well. Yeah, I need to straighten this out. Alright, that should do it. Put this in reverse. Oh, I hate this truck. Yep, I'm not a fan of man as a truck manufacturer. Certainly not from a driver's perspective. I don't know what it's like for owners. There we go. How economical they are, but they're not for me. Right, so parking brake on. Engine off. And let's detach this trailer and see how we did. Excellent. I love it. So, we're not going to level up. We only just scraped into level 13. So, we got an excellent for delivering milk from Karlskrona to Mikkeli. Different distance for 554 miles. Time taken 23 hours and 45 minutes. Fuel consumed 390.9 litres. We got a base reward of £15,845 and 892 XP. We've got a proficiency bonus for level 13 of £3,090, a long distance delivery bonus for skill rank 2 of £1,472 and 223 XP, and our bonus for parking the trailer, a whopping 45 XP. So that gives us a total of £20,406 and 1,160 XP. This removed us all the way up to almost halfway through level... Oh god, I went really hard. Almost halfway through level 13. So I reckon that another journey and a bit will get us... I think it's going to be 2 more journeys before we get to level 14. This is going to be the pattern from now on. We're not going to level up a journey at a time. It gets a lot more difficult. The gaps between... get larger, and we'll have to take significantly larger journeys in order to do so. But that's cool. We will start to take longer journeys. I want to get rid of this man truck as quickly as possible, and that means earning enough money to buy the truck and the driver. And we're a ways from that yet. So the G27 Road Warrior is a level 13 skilled worker. This profile has a total experience of 20,105 XP, and our target remains 21,600. So we're only 400. We're only 1,500 away. So it's possible. It's possible. We've got that level of XP. I think this was a particularly short journey. So. Thank you very much for travelling with me from Karlskrona to Mikkeli. Thank you for watching the video. Much appreciated. Every view is a little burst of joy for me. If you enjoyed this video, please don't be shy about clicking that like button. If you've not already subscribed, every subscriber makes a difference. Oh, do you know what I didn't do? I didn't write down the list of current subscribers. I was going to do that. I'm going to do that after this video and then prepare it for the next video, so that during that video I can read out the name of every subscriber I have. All 15 of them. Bless them. I love them dearly. So if you enjoyed this video, thank you very much. If you know someone who might enjoy this video or any of my other videos, let them know, so that they have a chance to maybe like and maybe subscribe. And until I see you in the next video, I'll see you on the road.